Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. Let's get the latest transfer news. Now, we only have 3 days remaining until the window closes. The best transfer window we've ever had for sure. And there's more deals that are still going to happen in terms of incomings and outgoings. And we have breaking news today from Fabrizio Romano on Kiwior. Jakub Kiwior to FC Porto. Here we go. Deal agreed with Arsenal on loan with obligation to buy. €2 million loan fee first, and then €17 million obligation to buy plus add-ons and sell-on clause up to potential fee of 25 million or 27 million euros. Kiwior is scheduled to fly in the next 24 hours as soon as documents are approved. So FC Porto are going to get him on loan first. They're going to pay us 2 million for the loan, and then next year they have an obligation to buy him, so they must buy him next year, and the fee will be 17 million next year. There will be a sell-on clause, so if FC Porto ever decide to sell him, we are going to get some money for that. And the potential fee, sell-on clause up to potential fee of 25 to 27 million euros. Now, I'm sure you're making a profit. Let me just confirm that. I'm sure you're making a profit on Jakub Kiwior. I mean, seeing players like Kwanzaa from Liverpool going for a lot of money, and I think they had another guy called Ben something going for like 40 million pounds. I would wanted us to get like at least 40 million for Kiwior. He's an international player, 25 years of age. He's played for us 3 different positions in 3 seasons. He's had an impact in our team. But I guess everything does matter in terms of the age, it's a difficult one, man, because Kiwior has been better in the Premier League than Kwanzaa, but maybe it's just because of where he's going. Someone like Kwanzaa went to Germany, other players go to other Premier League teams. Maybe you're going to get more money from other teams. I don't know. I can't see the exact fee that Kiwior's bought for, but I think it is a profit. I'll look into that for sure. But we are going to get a total package of up to 25 million euros, so around 20 million pounds. That feels quite low, to be honest, considering looking at other players who've been sold. But as I said, I'm not expecting our new director Andrea Bata to come in and sell players for 50 million. These players aren't really bought by him. The contracts that they've been put on, that they've not really been done by our new director. The salary is not done by a new director. So the players that Bat has now signed this transfer window and the upcoming transfer windows, now we look at how he's going to sell them in the future. But for Kiwior, I do feel like, he definitely deserves to be a first team player. He's a very good player who can play. I mean, if Kiwior was to go to any other Premier League team, I think out of the 19 other teams, I think Kiwior would start for at least 14, 15 of them. So I think 20 million is quite low, but hey, we are going to he wanted to leave. He wanted to go and be a first team player. I think now we're taking the approach of Guardiola, where if a player wants to go, we just let them leave. No need of keeping someone who's unhappy. He deserves to be a first team player. You just let him go. I don't know why I can't find that Kiwior Arsenal transfer fee. It was bought in the same transfer as players like Trossard, I think, and Jorginho. Transfer fee. Let's see if I can find it. So we bought him for around. No, this is totally different. So that's 17 million. Wait, transfer Kiwior. Okay, we paid 21 million pounds for him. So we are basically just getting the same that we paid for him. We are not making any profit or any loss. It's just basically the same. And I think Kiwior has improved as a player at Arsenal. So that is a bit of a weird one, but all the best to him. Kiwior is scheduled to fly in the next 24 hours as soon as the documents are approved. Now, what about David Ornstein? This is what David Ornstein has had to say. Porto reached agreement with Arsenal to sign Jakub Kiwior. Personal terms also in place for 25-year-old to join FC Porto in deal worth guaranteed 25 million euros, max 27 million euros. Move depends on Arsenal finalizing acquisition of Piero Hincapié from Bayer Leverkusen. So in the article, David Ornstein goes on to say, Porto have agreed a deal to sign Arsenal defender Jakub Kiwior, subject to the Premier League club completing their move for Hincapie. Porto's deal for Kiwior is worth a guaranteed 25 million euros, rising to 27 million euros, and personal terms are already in place. The Poland international made 30 appearances in all competitions for Arsenal last season, becoming a regular start in the center of defense after Gabriel was ruled out for the remainder of the campaign in April following hamstring surgery. The move is dependent on Arsenal landing Hincapie. with the club continuing to work on a deal to sign the centre half from Leverkusen before the September 1st transfer deadline. So, yes, it's a here we go. I think we've only gotten that here we go because we are about to get the here we go for Hincapie as well, because this deal's related. Kiwior was not part of Arsenal head coach Mikel Arteta's squad for the opening Premier League game of the new season, away at Manchester United on August 17th, before being an unused sub for the win over Leeds United on Saturday. Deployed at both centre-back and left back, 3 different positions actually. The 25-year-old has played 68 games in total for Arsenal, scoring 3 goals and providing 5 assists. I remember his assist for Saka in pre-season. That was fantastic. I think it was against AC Milan. That was absolutely incredible. An exit for Kiwior would pave the way for Hincapie's arrival and help towards balancing Arsenal's books after a busy transfer window, busy summer, which has seen Kepa, Mosquera, Zubimendi, Nogard, Madueke, and Gyökeres all arrive at the Emirates Stadium. So that is what David Hansen has had to say. Now, in terms of Kiwior featuring for Arsenal, he wouldn't really start. When Gabriel is fit, Saliba is fit, we know Kiwior is not to start. Now, the previous seasons, Kiwior would be the first person to come on if, Gabriel is out or Saliba is out. But now we've added more quality. And if Calafiori is fit, Calafiori can play the Gabriel role, and he's a very good ball carrier, which Arteta prefers. And Mosquera has now joined us as well. So Mosquera is going to be on the bench ahead of Kiwior. Now, if Mosquera hadn't been signed, Kiwior would be the one to be on the bench. But because we've signed Mosquera, if everyone is fit, Kiwior is not on the bench for sure. So you'd probably have, Lewis Kelly on the bench, Mosquera on the bench, Ben White on the bench. Those will be the 3 defenders we have on the bench, because you still need players like Madueke there. You still need, Martinelli, Trossard, all those guys on the bench. So you can only have like maybe 2 or 3 defenders as substitutes. You can't have up to 4. So there's no spot for Kiwior there. Literally, the only time Kiwior would be on the bench is if, we are missing like 2 out of the other 7 defenders, and maybe mostly you would start like in the Carabao Cup and then the FA Cup, but not in the Champions League or in the Premier League games unless 2 or 3 players are being rested. So all the best to Jakub Kiwior. Let's see how that one develops, and he's going to go and do his medical very, very soon, and he's going to move on after 2.5 years. Now, this one is definitely related to Hincapie. So what's the latest on Hincapie? So Fabrizio says, understand Arsenal are closing in on Piero Hincapié deal with Bayer. Here we go soon. Agreement almost done as Bayer accept loan with obligation to buy for Hincapie as formula wanted by Arsenal. Details on fee structure being sorted, and then here we go coming next. So this one is 100% related to that Kiwior deal. The only way we'd have gotten the here we go for Kiwior is if Arsenal know this one is going to be done. I went through him the other day a little bit in terms of his stats, and what he's going to provide for us is a good ball carrier. He progresses the ball well. He can play as left back just like Kiwior, and I think he can play left back better than Kiwior. He's also a centre back. Kiwior has his strengths that are better than Hincapie, but Hincapie is younger, and also in terms of that ball control and ball carrying ability, and just technique on the ball. Arsenal view Hincapie as a good replacement. I think if Kiwior didn't want to leave Arsenal, Arsenal would have been happy to keep him. We wouldn't have been going for someone else. But because Kiwior wants fast team football, then it has forced us to, go for someone different that or someone of almost a similar ilk that can play in that position. And Hincapie is the guy that we've decided to go for. So Fabrizio says the here we go is going to come very, very soon. Sammy Mockbill says Arsenal are in advanced talks with Bayer Leverkusen over soup for Piero Hincapié. Deal moving closer, but Arsenal working to sell players amid UEFA squad and cost ratio concerns. In the article, Sammy Mockbill says with Monday cutoff, the deadline cutoff looming, Arsenal want to add a left-sided defender, Hincapie, to their squad. Multiple sources have indicated an agreement is close for the Ecuador international, who has a 52 million release clause, while the 23-year-old wants the move. However, Arsenal are mindful of complying with the UEFA squad cost ratio regulations and want to ensure players are sold before completing a deal for Hincapie. He also goes on to say that The Gunners are in talks with Porto of an exit for Jakub Kiwior, with Hincapie seen as a direct replacement for the Poland defending Mikeleto's squad. There's also interest in attacker Reiss Nelson, who has suitors from across Europe. Fulham have approached Arsenal about Nelson, but the Cottagers are reluctant to sign the wing on a permanent deal or a loan with an obligation to buy. Alexander Zinchenko, Albert Samuel Lokong, and Fabio Vieira, who has interest from Stuttgart, can also leave this month. So a lot is going to happen this transfer window. The remaining 3 days, there's still a lot of players who are going to leave. But we are waiting to finalize the Hincapie one and the Kiwior one first. Hincapie will be joining us very soon. It's going to be a loan just like the Kiwior one, but obligation to buy next year. So we are going to finalize this deal next year to make sure that it doesn't appear in this year's financial report, because we've signed a lot of players. Hand of Arsenal says this last night. Arsenal have made serious advancements today for the signing of Piero Hincapié. Friday is regarded as a significant day for Andrea to secure clarity on this file. I am also told Andrea Bat is still assessing the market in the final days of the transfer window should an opportunity present itself. So even after Hincapie, that is not it. If a good opportunity comes up, we might end up signing someone. I mean, I had like a week ago, like if a Watkins became available for like 30 million, I also would try to go for him as a backup striker or something. So a deal like that doesn't have to be Watkins, it can be anyone else, but any opportunity that comes up, we might see someone getting signed on deadline day, even after Hincapie. So that would be like 9 transfers in one transfer window, like signings. That would be crazy. And there's still a lot of outgoings. And remember, at the beginning of the transfer window, there's a lot of players like Tierney and Jorginho who left. So this has been like 30 players in and out. Absolutely crazy. Players like Karl Hein, players like Butler, Dage, like there's so many players who've moved on or moved into Arsenal. Now, those are not the last ones as well. Zinchenko. David Ornstein says Marseille working on a deal to sign Alexander Zinchenko from Arsenal. Marseille exploring permanent move for 28-year-old defender, but complicated by Ukraine international Arsenal salary. Significant issue plus solution needed for deal to advance, talks ongoing. So this is what you're saying. You know, Andrea Bat is not the one who puts Zinchenko on like 150k a week. That is always going to be a problem whenever you're trying to sell players. If that player does not want to reduce their wage, and if that team does not want to pay as much as the player wants, then it becomes a problem. Even if they agreed with Arsenal to sign Zinchenko for 40 million, they're not going to agree with Zinchenko on 150,000 per week. They'd want to lower that to maybe even 90, 100,000. So Zinchenko has to be happy with that before making his move to Marseille. But we are definitely making moves in terms of the sales. Now, after Zinchenko and Kiwior leave and Hincapie comes, that means we have 8 defenders. I usually like to have 9 defenders. Someone said a couple of days ago in the comment section that, can't we just use that money to buy another left wing or a left winger? I would wish so, but after selling Kiwior and Zinchenko, you have to sign a defender. 7 defenders is not enough, especially if you consider Ben White is still injured right now, and Calafiori and Timber, returning from injuries here and there. They've been injured a lot over the last 1 year, and Gabriel is returning from surgery. Don't think you can take any risks. You have to have at least 8 defenders. For me, I'd even have loved 9 defenders. Now, in the article, David Ornstein says Olympique Marseille are working on deal to sign Arsenal's Alexander Zinchenko. The league and club's interest at present relates to a potential permanent transfer. I think Arsenal would prefer that for sure. But Zinchenko's salary presents a significant issue that will need to be overcome if the situation is to advance. Talks are continuing, though, as Marseille explore whether a move can materialize before Monday's transfer deadline. The 28-year-old has entered the final 12 months of his contract at Arsenal, so it's either we sell him right now, we give him a new contract, we sell him in January, or he goes on a free next year. And in January, he can start speaking to other teams. He made just 23 appearances across all competitions last season. The Ukraine international signed from Man City in 2022. I mean, usually when you're signing players from Man City and Barcelona, those guys usually put them on high wages. That is just true. Look at Chelsea with Sterling and Arsenal with Jesus. 2 million in achievable add-ons. He joined us on a deal of 30 million along with additional add-ons of 2 million. Zinchenko's Mikeleto's preferred starting left back in his first 2 seasons at the Emirates Stadium. He definitely made an impact. I think that side with him and Xhaka and Martinelli was really good, and the way he came into midfield and gave us a different style of play that was really, really good. But after that, obviously, started realizing in terms of defensively. He's not a good one-on-one defender, and the injuries came up as well. And very quickly he was replaced by players like Lewis Kelly and Calafiori. Let's see. He made 33 and 35 appearances respectively in those seasons, as Arsenal came close to winning the Premier League title for the first time since 2004. Last season, academy graduate Miles Lewis Kelly is preferred our primary starting left back, while Julian Timber, Jakub Kiwior, and Ricardo Calafiori are all options in the position. Fullbacks Kieran Tierney, who has returned to Celtic, and Takehiro Tomiyasu have both left Arsenal this summer as free agents, while Nuno Tavares has made his Lazio switch permanent. I even usually forget about Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu left as well. Arsenal have so far signed 7 players. As reported by The Athletic on Friday, Porto have agreed a deal to sign Kiwior, but that move is dependent on Arsenal getting Hincapie over the line. Marseille's signings, we don't really care about Marseille's signings, but they signed Aubameyang from Qatar. So busy. Zinchenko is also expected to leave very, very soon. And then what about this guy? What about Fabio Vieira? Stuttgart have been in talks with Arsenal for weeks of a permanent deal for Fabio Vieira. It is expected that talks could rumble on until deadline day as the clubs haggle over a fee. However, there is hope that an agreement can be found. So Fabio Vieira as well, he might end up just agreeing a smaller fee with Stuttgart, just to let him move on. That could be the case. We could just let him move on. But let's see how it goes. Let's see if we do get the deal done very, very soon. Fabio Vieira, how much are you going to get for him? Very interested in that as well. How much are we going to get for Fabio Vieira? How much are you going to get for Zinchenko and all these guys? But busy next 3 days. Obviously, we have Liverpool on Sunday, so tough one. Injury update. We were told about Havertz is going to be out for a few weeks, as I said. A few weeks is like 2 months. He's not going to be out for a long time. Saka as well is going to be back maybe in a month's time, so not that bad. It could have been worse. So hopefully we can get a result against Liverpool, and let's see if we can get these deals done. As of now, thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.